Hey guys, this is New Sensei. Today's monthly Q&A video is going to be rather short because it's been a relatively quiet month. Before I begin, I was requested by a viewer to call out a particular video. Now, I don't really like calling out people. It's not really my job to criticize people on the internet, but there have been several cases where I have to identify certain safety issues with some videos, and this video was forwarded to me for comment.
Whoa! Incredible. Oh, sprung a leak.
Danger close.
Yeah, don't miss, son. Just careful.
Get from back there.
Careful, son.
Get from back there.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah.
All right, son. Careful. Ow! Oh! That almost got me in the stomach, son. I'm back on away from you. You're getting kind of dangerous here. Look at the Lord.
Now, I don't want to make a whole video to call out and criticize this one guy. There are several reasons. Firstly, the video is several years old, and even the most recent comments aren't that recent, so I don't feel there's a need to re-spark this video. So the whole trending phase is gone. Secondly, I don't feel there's a need to draw attention to another unsafe video. It's going to drive more viewers and more traffic towards a direction which shouldn't be focused on. And thirdly, he's already published a statement in his description. He's acknowledged his lack of safety. So I think the whole point of doing a big criticism is mostly gone. That said, I mean, the video itself is a demonstration of perhaps the most dangerous possible demonstration possible. Just the fact that you're shooting at a person and that person was inches away from receiving a potentially mortal wound, that is just pure reckless. The attitude at the time seemed to be very cavalier. It wasn't really a serious, responsible response. I think that the statement at the end of the description, to me, I'm not bought by it, but again, I'm several years late. There's no point mentioning it now, but because I was asked to comment on it, don't do it. Safety first all the time. As someone who runs an archery club, this sort of thing cannot possibly happen. Like, you cannot allow this to happen. It doesn't matter how safe you think it is. You just never shoot towards a person. And this video is a good example of what could go wrong given 1 or 2 extra centimeters. On to the questions. The first question comes from Manish, and Manish asked, are screw-on or stick-on motifs allowed on bows? The answer is likely yes. By this I assume you mean things like decals and decorations. In this case, an Iron Man kind of add-on. That would be really cool. The rules for freestyle recurve mostly govern things like sights. The judge will examine your sight if there's any magnification, which isn't allowed. They'll also check your finger tap for any release aids. But apart from that, there's nothing stopping you from decorating your bow. The exception to this would be in unmarked field events. Often the rules will stipulate that you can't have anything that can help you estimate distance for an unmarked field event. So any decals or symbols or anything on the belly of your bow, the part facing you, that you can use to gauge distance is not allowed. This does mean that certain limbs and certain risers may breach the rules. So if your decorations or your motifs can assist in sighting or gauging distance in an unmarked field event, that may not be allowed. But for freestyle target competition, it's fine. Muhammad asked, what is the absolute minimum draw weight for 70 meters? The answer is around 30 pounds. Most people will shoot mid-30s to mid-40s to comfortably make 70 meters, but you could do it on a 30-pound bow if you use carbon arrows, and especially if you have a slightly longer draw length, which means that your 30-pound bow is actually 32 or higher. But 30-pound is probably the lowest I'd go for 70 meters. You could make 70 meters with a lighter bow, but you will find that sighting will be very hard. You may have to aim above the target, so technically a lighter bow could make the distance, but within reasonable sighting range, then I'd say no less than 30 pound. Jerry asked several questions. The first one is, are bowstrings always 3 inches shorter than the bow length? Second question involves twisting strings, which I'm not really sure about. And the third question is BCY 8125G or 8125 a good material? For the first question, yes, generally speaking, the bowstrings are made to be 3 inches shorter than the bow length. This might vary with string makers, but generally these days it's 3 inches. The second question, I'm not too sure what the question's asking. You can add twist to the string to reduce the length by around half an inch. Any more than that and you're really pushing it. You can't really make it like that much shorter. So if you have the string length exactly the same as bow length, that's way too long. You can't twist the string to make it the right length. For the third question, yes, BCY 8125 and 8125G are good materials. Exactly how good, it's hard to measure against other strings. Some people swear by one brand or one material, others swear by another, others don't care. But it's generally the standard for the modern fast flight style strings. Chris asked, when aiming at the target, what do you focus on? You focus on the target itself. That should be the clearest point of your vision. It shouldn't be the sight or the string. This question is asked in relation to string picture and whether the string should be that wide in front of you, and the answer is no. The string itself should not be a huge blur. It should just be something in the corner of your eye. If it is obstructing your vision or your sight picture, then you might want to examine the way you align the string or your head positioning, because you don't need to have the string directly in front of you. It should just be off to the side of your vision, off to kind of this side over here or this side, depending on your handedness. So if it's too hard to aim the string in the way, then you might be aligning incorrectly. Windy Blower asked, what's the point of grip tape and how do I know if I need it? Grip tape, as the name suggests, it helps you grip the bow better. It's mostly used for things like tennis rackets, where the motion of swinging a racket can cause the racket to slip from your hand, so grip tape keeps it in place. For bows, a lot of the grips on bows are very smooth, so you find your hand may slide out of position, and the bow grip is very important. If you don't grip it consistently and your hand moves, you may find the bow will torque. You might find that the pressure is wrong. So having that extra friction that stops your hand moving may help. How do you know when to use it? You probably don't need to use it. Not that many archers put grip tape on their bows. It's a very personal preference. The reason why you might not want to use it is because if you don't put grip tape on correctly, you may find that you have the wrong grip all the time. So it's something where you really need to examine, do you need to have a high friction surface to stop yourself from moving, or can you just do it without using a grip tape? Others might use things like Suguru to form a mold which fits their hand perfectly. That works even better. Grip tape, I'd say personal preference. There's nothing really wrong about it, but most people don't need it. It's something where you might, if you feel like you need it, then yeah, add it. Otherwise, experiment, see if it works for you. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. Last question comes from Brett, and this is by far the question of the month. What advice do you have for setting up an archery range? This is one heck of a question, and I can't really answer this because I don't run an archery range. I'm the chair of an archery club, and the difference is that an archery club is a non-profit organization, whereas your archery range might be a private business. So there are different goals here, different requirements, so I can't give specific advice. But generally speaking, one thing you really need is to have a clear business plan. Starting a range is not a simple matter of, oh, I've got space, I've got money, I can have my own personal range and get people to pay fees. It takes a lot more work than that. I believe there are other people who can comment on this particular question. I'll invite people to do so, those who have their own ranges and those who have their own experience in setting up a facility like this. But there are several things. One, clear plan. Two, have the right people. Often, especially in a private business, but even in a non-profit archery club or sports club organization, it often comes down to one or two people who do everything. And especially if you're the owner, then everything comes down to you. Everything from the marketing to the organization, the upkeep, everything comes down to you. And if you can't handle that pressure, you can't manage your business, then as of a lot of businesses, you will find it very hard to stay afloat. Because you have to pay for maintenance, you have to pay for materials, you have to pay for everything. So my advice is just like plan this out carefully. If you do this spontaneously, you may find yourself digging yourself in a very deep hole which you can't get out of. It may be a financial mistake. So if you know what you're doing, you've got a fair idea of how to run a business, then yes, it could work. If you're thinking about an archery club, then there are things like charters and constitutions and rules and different roles which you have to fill out. But yeah, it really depends on what kind of range you want to run, what you expect from your range, and how much capital you have to put into this facility. Apart from that, again, I can't comment specifically. I don't have any experience of running a range. And again, I invite other people to share their experiences for how to run a range. Anyway, that concludes this month's question and answer. I'm looking forward to making some more videos in the next few weeks. The school year is coming to an end, which means given the pleasant outdoor weather, I should be shooting a bit more, and hopefully I'm getting through my to-do list, which is around like 20 videos long. I'll get there. Anyway, this is New Sensei, and I'll see you next time.